and what to expect from it. Okay, if you're kind of bored of that part, we're going to talk about AFK, what to expect from it. Okay, if you're bored of that part, you're in the wrong course right now. But we're going to talk about AFK, and then after that, we're going to give an epidemiology lecture and also ethics. So that can kind of give you an idea of how we do things. And if you're taking the course, today is part of the course. And then the course will continue on September 15 when our basic science begins. Okay, so we added the epidemiology ethics, that's all new. But there wasn't any room to put it in the course. It's already packed with a lot of information, so we're going to do it now with it as well. And after, everybody that attended will get an email with all the material that's related to today. That includes some articles that you'll need to read for infection control, consent, kind of things that start with, okay, like a start-out package. We're going to give you the notes for the epidemiology, and also we'll send you a link to our basic science book. So the basic science book is free on the website to download and start reading, okay? This is a summary of basic science for dental board exam, basically, okay? And you can start reading that to kind of, get ready for the first session. Now, if you're taking the course, don't print it. We're going to print the newer version for you that has the epidemiology at the end with all the visuals, okay? All right, so let me begin with some basics, right? So NDEB exam orientation, how to become a dentist. So I'm going to start from the end, okay? From looking at the end. How do you become a dentist here? The way it works, first you have to apply, or at the end you have to apply to something called Provincial Dental Regulatory Authority. That's who gives you your license to work. Provincial Dental Regulatory Authority. You ask them, can I work as a dentist? They'll ask you, okay, give us NDEB certificate. They're going to ask for an English test and some university papers. So your goal right now, what you don't have is the NDEB certificate. Okay, so you need the NDEB certificate. Okay, let me get a pen here. All right, I like using the board. Okay. And you want to become a dentist in Canada, so first you have to contact the RCDSO since you're in Ontario. Okay, so this is how the NDEB certificate looks like. You're working so hard to get this piece of paper. Okay, money, time, effort to get this piece of paper. That will hopefully get you to your goal. Okay, so the provincial dental regulatory authorities, each province has a different one. Okay, so you see they're all different names. The one in Ontario is called the Royal College of Dental Surgeons of Ontario. They are the people that watch over the dentists. Okay, they monitor what we're doing. They get us in trouble if we're doing something bad. Okay, they give you your license. So that's who the RCDSO is. They give you your license to work. Okay. So when I show you something like RCDSO article, that means it's from them. It's their guidelines. We follow that. Okay, it's a strong source of information. So what do they want, these RCDSO people? First, they want we said the NDEB certificate. We said English test, other university papers from back home that you need to get. So you could worry about those later for them, like the TOEFL, but first focus on the certificate. So how do we get the NDEB certificate? So now, to get the NDEB certificate, you have to contact the NDEB. These two are two different organizations. Okay? So the NDEB is Canada-wide. It gives you a certificate. RCDSO is Ontario. Okay? So RCDSO is going to give you your license. The NDEB is going to give you your certificate to apply for the license. You see how it works? NDEB are not always, friendly with us, but the RCDSO is more lenient. I think the last time I checked how many dentists are registered in the RCDSO, around 8,800. So in all of Ontario, there's around 9,000. And that's not a huge number for Ontario, right? So it's you're like pretty much at the top of the professional percentage. Okay. So how to get the NDEB certificate? Well, how do you do that? We're starting from the end. How do we get the NDEB certificate? Well, you have to pass the written board and the OSCE exam. Those two examinations are the examinations that give you the NDEB certificate. Okay? The written board exam, which is a multiple choice question exam, and then the OSCE exam, which is cases. However, the NDEB is not going to let just anyone take these exams. You have to be, there's certain rules. Only certain people could take these exams. So who could take these exams? You have to be from an accredited dental program to take those exams. And what that means is either graduate of a dental school in Canada, US, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland. Okay, so high standards. Not even the UK counts, right? So you have to be, if you're one of these, then you could just take, if you come to Canada, all you have to do is take these two exams and you get your certificate. Everybody with me? All right. So let's see how people here get to the exams, right? The written board and OSCE exam. That's the goal, right? We have to pass these to get our certificate. People here, they go through a lot, right, Dr. Swan? They go through a lot to become a dentist, right? They probably value it a lot more than people abroad. First, they have to study 4 years of university, okay? And usually they may have to study something that doesn't have maybe a good job at the end, but they're taking the risk, and then they have to apply to the school, and they may get it, may not get it. Okay, so they're wasting 4 years here, and they have to be an A student in everything for 4 years. So it's not like some ways back home where it was, just one exam at the end, and it determines everything, right? They have to keep getting high marks throughout the 4 years, and then they have a score, and that could get them into dental school or medical school. So to them, just getting into dentistry is like special, right? it's a good thing, right? That's it. They're happy. They're becoming dentists. It's a goal. It's a rewarding goal, right? So we're lucky that we have a path that we can just come here and do exams. I know a lot of people want to complain about it, right? Oh, this NDEB thing, but it's actually lucky. It's better than going through years of university, may get in, may not. You're getting opportunities to do exams, so be happy about it. Okay, they're giving you an opportunity to do that. So they do those. Once they're done, then they can get to the written board and OSCE. Now, for people that are not accredited, that we're not, well, now I'm done. So, but for people not accredited, right? First, you have to do the AFK exam. Then you have two paths. So you always start with the AFK. Okay? That's why I think the AFK is the most, it's like your step into the process, right? So it's like the most important part. Once you're done AFK, you have two paths. Either you do the two other exams, skills and judgment, or you could go to university and get accredited. Either way will get you to those board exams. Okay, so if you pass all 3 exams, now they look at you as an accredited dentist, and you're like, okay, you just have to do this exam to get your license. Or you could apply, you get a high mark here, you could apply to universities, and then you have an opportunity also to finish, get the degree from here, and also go to those last exams. So what's the difference here? Well, let me give you real things here, okay, so that you are aware of time, money spent. To do the 3 exams this path, you're looking around 30,000 to 40,000, okay, and 1 to 2 years. Obviously, that depends on, if you fail a bunch of times, then it's going to take more time. If you do it, you could do it in 1 year if you pass everything. Okay. The university, you're looking at 100 to 200,000, and 2 to 3 years. So, for example, UFT, to get into UFT, okay. First, you have to have a high mark in the AFK. They want to do an interview. They want to see what kind of person you are. And they ask you weird questions. Okay? Like, someone stole money from your company, what would you do? That kind of stuff. They want to see who you are. They don't care about your knowledge. They want to see what kind of person you are. Okay? Then they do a psychology test. Okay? And then you can get in. So that's your thing. Now when you get in, you have a 6 months program that summarizes year 1 and 2. And you pay $50,000 for that. And then you can get into year 3 and 4. And then you graduate. And each year is around, the last time I checked, it was around 30. So you could already see it's already over 110, plus whatever loan you're taking from the bank here for an interest. And then if you need to take loans for your own expenses, that's adding on to it, right? So that's why I'm saying it's around 100 and 200,000, but 2 to 3 years. Okay. So obviously, I think most people that have been working for a long time prefer this path, okay, because they just want to work. Now, what's the advantage of going this way? The advantage is you get a degree from here. Okay, so when you finish this path, you don't get a degree from here. So that means when you go back to your certificate, it'll say your name and then University of Damascus or something, wherever you came from, okay? That's what it would say. But if you take the university path, you'll be from universities here. What's the advantage of that? Well, if you want to go to the US, okay, if you want to go to the US, it's easier. You're already a graduate from here. You only have to do their board exams, right? But if you finish this path, and then you decide to go to the US, you have to start all over. Okay, so that's just an idea, to understand where you're going, right? Well, what's that? That always comes up. Okay. All right, so do you see the point there? So basically, if you already feel like, I'm good, I'm happy here, then it makes sense to go this way. If you feel like, no, I'm thinking of going to the US, then you probably either want to go to the US from the beginning or go that way, right? The other advantage is maybe you may have more of an opportunity to get into the specialty if you have a degree from here, right? Because you already have connections and you know the professor and stuff like that, so they already know your name. However, specialties here, people think are the same as specialties back home. So here, you can almost do everything as a general dentist. You want to do impactive? Take a course, you do impactive. You want to do implants? Take a course, and you do implants. You want to do ortho? Take a course, and you do ortho. So you can do anything, almost. You can't do, TMJ surgery. So if you want to do that, then you go into specialty. Okay? So you can pretty much learn almost anything. So let's summarize. If you're from an accredited program, this is what you've done in your life. You went through 4 years of schooling, then you got into dental school. You spent a lot of money, a lot of time, 8 years, and then you got to these exams, right? That's why a lot of schools or dentists actually complain about the process, because they're like, how come these people get to come here, spend like a year and some money, and then they get to have the same licensing as we do, right? So they're filtering who's applying. They're filtering, right? They want to take the best of the best, okay, from all foreign trained dentists. So our path is like this. Okay, these are our options. We have 2 ways to get to these exams. So 2 paths. Both of them will end up with the OSCE and the written, and both of them start with applying to the NDEB and AFK. So that's why it's the most important step. It's your beginning. Whatever you're thinking in between, it's all, let's clear our minds and just forget about it now. And let's think the first mission. If you haven't applied to the NDEB, do that. If you have, first mission, AFK. That's it. So you don't think of too much. Well, then where do I do this and then where do I do that? Don't worry. Just get your AFK done first, right? And then options will open, right? You could do both. Thankfully, I got accepted to UFT and I passed. So I have to make a decision. Do I want to go to UFT or do I not just get working? I decided not to go to university and just start going and working and getting the experience. And for me, that was the right decision. Okay. So you're going to apply to NDEB, do the AFK exam, skills exam, you're doing the direct path, the judgment exam, and then written board and OSCE exam. So the AFK and the skills and the judgment, once you're done those, the written board is basically like the AFK. So it's easy. Once you're done the AFK, you've already passed that point where pharmacology is tough. And it becomes, at this point, after the AFK, with us here, it becomes like you love pharmacology.
It does, yeah, you will.
The course,
trust me.
They hated pharmacology. We hate pharmacology. At the end of the course, thank God for pharmacology. You're like, we love pharmacology. All the questions of pharmacology we can answer. All the process questions are just tricky, but pharmacology is like, once you learn it, you know, you could answer it. That's what's nice about it, right? But learning it takes time. So that's why I start with pharmacology, and hopefully we get you there. So let me take you through a timeline. I'll go on the board, because I want to give you strategies too, right? So again, let's look at the timeline of how this is split. Okay, so AFK one happens in February, and one happens in August. Okay. ACJ and skills, one is in June. We have ACJ and ACS, and then in December. Okay. And you apply to the NDEB by then, right? So AFK, to get to the exam, I think it costs $1,150 just to apply to the exam. Courses are around 3,000 to 4,000. Okay. ACJ and ACS happen Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, back to back. Okay. The result of the mark, let's say you're doing it in February, comes out 6 weeks after, so it comes out somewhere in March. Okay. And here, somewhere in September. ACJ courses are around 2,000. Exam is around, I think, 2,000. ACS exam is around, I think, 7,000 at this point. Imagine, just the exam, just to do the exam.
Wow.
It's around 7,000. So if you fail,
You pay
and
again?
money's an issue, then you gotta be careful when you're taking the exam. Right? Sorry?
If you fail, you pay again all the money.
Yes, if you fail, next time you pay the exam again. The courses are around 6,000. Material, you have to take everything with you to the skills. So let's say 10,000. Okay? Because you have to practice on heat, right? 1 kilovolt tooth is $11. So you're doing class 2, you mess up, you get another one. So, right? And if you mess up the adjacent, then you have to replace the adjacent tooth too. So there's a lot of expenses in the skills, right? You want to buy loops, you want to buy, if you want to practice at home, you have to buy. Yeah.
But if you go to university, are all those things provided?
Yes, university is different, so you don't do skills in university.
Yeah. But
So-
when they teach you as a student, right, like as any undergrad student, so they
Oh, you
provide.
paid in this 100,000. So.
Yeah, you're paying already
They would-
30,000 a year. So they got you covered, or maybe 40 now, right? So they cover materials. Yeah. So that's different. But in skills, no one's covering you. You have to cover yourself, right? So that's why there's two things important here before you enter these processes, right? You have to manage your funds. Right? You have to see if you have enough funds to do this, and you have enough time. Okay? So I know like time is an issue and then funds are an issue, but you have to know that you're ready to do this. Because if AFK is a problem, and then how are you going to do the skills financially, right? That's the thing. So you have to already think of strategy forward. What are you going to do in the next year, right? So you can see how much this could cost. And they're back to back. So imagine you got your mark in March, and you want to practice here for both of them. Is that enough time? 2.5 months? Exactly. So what's going to happen is, a lot of times, if you try to do both, you fail at both. Right? That's a risk. So it depends on your situation. So if you're on your own and you have so much time and you started, doing everything early and you're okay, you want to take the risk, money's not an issue, then that's fine. You can try to do both. Because if you pass both, then you have, you save time, right? But imagine that, you didn't have that time to study both and you failed them both, right? It's a lot of expenses. You have to pay for the exam again. It's stress. Just to do the exam the second time is stressful. So the way that you could do it is, the strategy that I like to say is, you do AFK here. Okay, let me use a different color. So you do AFK here. and then you do ACJ. Okay, so you focus on the theory and finish them, trying to increase your chance of passing, lowering your chance of failure. And then you try to do the ACS here. Okay, that way you have more time to prepare for the skills. Right? Buying material is a big thing, like it takes time. But getting to the skills, at least you have more time, you have more preparation, you're less risk, right? And instead of doing all three in a few months, okay, you're delayed a bit, don't worry, the OSCE exams happen 3 times a year, so those are fine, right?
A few people told me not to do the AFK in February because it's like really hard in February and August is easier. Does that even
I don't believe in any of that stuff. Okay, so if it's easy for you, it's okay. So let's say February is easy for everybody, right? And if August is hard, it's harder on anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a competition. It's not if you get all the correct answers you pass. It's who answered the most correct, how much of the people answered the most correct. That's how it works. So if it's hard, it's the same for everybody. You see, that's what the curve is there for. So I'm not worried about if it's harder or if it's, because you might feel it's harder, but you actually pass and you'll see that. If you ask people, they'll say, we felt like we failed, but we passed. We felt like we passed, but we failed. It's who answered the best. That's how it works. Okay? So it really doesn't matter. Okay, the only thing that matters, do you want to go in the winter or do you want to go in the summer? Do it that way. You want to go to Toronto or somewhere, or did you get a center? Yeah. I wouldn't worry about that part. It's easier or harder. Yeah, and so that's the strategy that you could do. Now here, we're specializing in theory. I've been working I care mostly about the AFK because that's where all the foundation starts. ACJ, you build on it. So with ACJ, I use the knowledge you learned in the AFK, but I change the strategy. I tell you this is how you would answer, this is how you would think in ACJ. But AFK is very special to me, okay? So AFK, we have gaps from universities, I feel. Maybe they weren't explained right. Maybe we were too young trying to pass just in the university, right? So this is a second chance to repair your foundation of dentistry. And this is the only chance because once you pass AFK, you're never going to go back and open a pharmacology book, let's face it. Okay? But it's important because you don't want to talk to a physician and not know what you're talking about. You don't want to talk to a patient and they tell you we're taking blood pressure pills and you're like, I don't know what to do here, So you have to know these things. You have to be that doctor, right? So that's why AFK, I specialize in it and I don't do skills because if I distribute my effort in both, I'll compromise the quality in AFK and no one really is doing the AFK the way we do. So I'm just going to stick with AFK. And maybe in the future we could do skills if we find that's established, but we just want to make sure AFK is perfect. Okay? So, because that's where I find deficiencies in for people. And then once you're done with both of those, we can send you out to people that do skills very well. Okay? So that's the strategy of taking the exams. So NDEB application, if you haven't done it before, these are some things you may be faced with. So you have to make an account, send your info, photo, send a dental degree, notarized copy and translation. Now, this part here, I see different things. Some people say they ask them to send the original degree that they hang on the wall. That's the new rule. Some people said, no, I was able to get it without that. So I'm like, okay, so this depends on what happens, I guess.
No, they asked originally that's
you have to send the one on the wall.
Yes, so
And that's what I've been hearing. So basically, this sounds risky, doesn't it? Like sending your degree
they send
and
it
back
back.
on the wall, away.
I tried. No, it's fine.
That's fine, yeah, it's yours. You
I
deserve
haven't
that.
received it until now.
Huh?
I haven't received
And
it.
you haven't received anything until now. They ran away with it or something. No.
you'll get it like 6 weeks later.
Yeah.
6
Yeah.
weeks, yeah, after the like registration.
After the
Hopefully. So after they're done with the process, they say 6 weeks later you get it back, right?
Send it back.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then you probably don't need an authorized copy. Right? My client needed marked transcripts with the translation. They needed me to send marked transcripts from my university directly, and the confirmation degree sealed from the university. These are the things that they want you to send. So just in case you don't know what a notarized copy means, some people may not know, so you go to a lawyer or a notary public, cheaper, and they have to see your original degree, and they photocopy it themselves, and then they put a sticker on it. Okay? You can't bring them a photocopied version, they have to photocopy it themselves. Okay? So that's called a notarized copy. Now, if you have a copy of the degree, and you translate it, it's usually stapled with the translation. So you have a translation and copy of the degree. That's a different document than the notarized copy. Okay, so if you send those in, the notarized copy is the degree, for example. The translation with the copy is translation. So if you send only this, it's not enough. You still want one of these on its own. Okay. Anyway, I'll leave that also for you to review. Ask the NDEB if you have any questions. Sometimes they have special ways. Like if you can't do something, you could do like a document, right? I swear I have a dentist, something like that, or with a lawyer, and they could accept it. So ask them. The confirmation degree, it's a piece of paper where half of it is on, you fill the top part, and your university fills the bottom part. So you fill the top part, you send it to your university. Your university, if they're smart, they'll fill the bottom part correctly. Okay? They put it in an envelope and seal it, and then send it back to the NDEB. Okay? So that you could have issues here, because my university put a weird date here that didn't match my date, and I had to do it again. So that part you may have sometimes you have to repeat. But that's how the confirmation degree is, and that's pretty much it. So once you send, now you wait for approval, and once you're approved, then you can apply to the exams.